future fourth, a sixth, and I'm throwing that in there because I don't want it for 35. Not ideal. I wanted a first, but now we're in a position to jump back in if we need to. So we'll bleed off a little bit more. I'm not really going to give off context for these rather than just look at them. We'll stop at 12. Mendoza, Styles, Bain, J Love, Bailey to New York. It's a weird one. Arvell Reese falls to 6. Interesting. Now Noah, that makes sense. Bookend him with. I'm drawing a blank. Laramie Tunzel. Mansour Delane, that makes sense. LSU with New Orleans, that's a good fit. Caleb Downs, that's really good value for the Chiefs. Monroe Freeling has been climbing. Makai Lemon is a new, flavor. Get a flavor with lemon. It's a new flavor of wide receiver that you can add with Jalen Waddle, with Tyreek out of the picture. No idea who's going to be slinging the quarterback to them. Maybe it's a Malik Willis or a 1-year Geno or something. But Carnell Tate went to the Cowboys. Maybe in this world, George Pickens went somewhere. Or maybe they just want to go 3 deep and abandon the run game. Dylan Thieneman with that. No, that was their pick from last year. That's a good pick. Spencer Fano, got to protect your franchise quarterback. You got the house, now get the insurance. Kenyon Sadiq to the Buccaneers. You see that one a lot. Caleb Banks can be your new drawing a blank. Kid that got traded to Dallas, that defensive tackle. Mesidor to Detroit. I think that makes sense. Minnesota's on the clock. Remember what we did below when configuring these ideas here. Ione, I know he has taken center snaps as in 17 last year. He'd be interesting because I don't really know if Will Fries is the long-term guy at right guard. His contract makes it so you're, I don't want to say stuck with him because he's okay. He's a very okay lineman. I'm hoping another year removed from the broken leg gets him back a little bit normal. Hopefully some improved center play, or at least some consistently improved. Ryan Kelly was good when he played. I didn't address cornerback in free agency. We at least have a placeholder on the line. I do want to target, maybe with this second pick, my high second, one of these nose tackles like a Caden McDonald or a Lee Hunter. I really think we need a space eater who can kind of collapse pockets. Lee Hunter's got a little bit more wiggle, but Caden might, just be just a little bit better at the run stopping and, leverage portion of things. We don't need linebacker anymore. I flirted with the idea of getting rid of Addison, but I think he's just, the value is a little bit too low. I think, again, with improved quarterback play, you could realistically get him to like 1,000 yards, and even with his deficiencies with the drops and whatnot, he's always going to be a good touchdown threat. So Jordan Tyson's interesting, but I think I'm ultimately going to pass on that. I don't think Cisco or the Hitman would prevent me from going McNeil Warren, but I think just as far as sheer value, I'm going to take Jermod McCoy. 2024 tape, if he repeated, minus the ACL, if 2024 McCoy played in 2025, he would be a top 10 pick. He's just that talented. Let's see what we got. Colton Hood, we don't need. I like our cornerback room now. Max from Arizona State, I think he's going to be a stud. But with Darisaw restructured, they obviously see him long term. And with us, hypothetically, for our mock season here, extending Brian O'Neill, we don't really need that. So I think I'm just going to take my guy, take Lee Hunter. B-Flow is going to be absolutely ecstatic with how that went the first 2 picks. You beef up your D-line, you now have 3+ guys starting. We need to address or get a little bit better depth at edge. because now you don't have a three-headed monster. You just have DT and AVG. Halsey would be interesting because you got Metellus back, but he's going to play, hopefully, his, Joker role and not be the traditional guy. Let's take a look here. What's the trade offer? They want to move 13 picks. I don't think I can do that. Jadarian Price is interesting. Derek Moore. I like Derek Moore. Do I like Derek Moore more than I like Malachi, though? Derek Moore is a little bit safer in my eyes. Interesting. Interesting conundrum. I also don't want to draw this video out too long. So, I kind of want to go Derek Moore. He's not rated as highly, but I kind of like the player a little bit better. Even though Malachi is an athletic freak. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take Derek Moore. Better or more sustained production at a higher level of competition. We're going Derek Moore. It wouldn't be a bad idea to grab a tight end, but this just isn't a great class for him. Connor Liu. I like Connor Liu a lot, but he's kind of in the same ballpark, even to a greater degree, as Jermon McCoy because of the injury. Yeah, we're not going to grab him. We're going to grab Jake Slaughter. Plug and play center, or at the very least, you let Brandel audition for starting center. You can do a true camp battle between those two. Pick 97, just as a quick recap, we beefed up the interior D-line, the interior O-line. We got a new corner who, if 100% healthy, projects as a cornerback 1 moving forward. So between him, Zay, Rogers, and Murph, you got a trio that can be pretty darn good. Pick 97 here, Markel Bell blew up the combine, but I don't really know if we need that type of tackle. Let's look at running backs. Is our boy Mike Washington still here? No. Where did Mike Washington go? He wasn't even there. Where did Mike Washington? Mike Washington went at the top of the third? Dang. No worries, though, because we're going to go Emmett Johnson. Has openly stated he would be thrilled to play for the Vikings. We're going to speed this up. I'm not going to go through these other picks. What are we looking at here? Other positions we might need. Tight end depth wouldn't hurt. Although, I like Ben Urasek. We got Hawk around. And Josh Oliver's, he's a stud for what we need him to do. Michael Taffy at safety isn't my favorite type. Cole Wisniewski would be good. According to this, I'd be drafting him a little high, but I don't care. At 6'4" and 220, you're going to kind of get like a Jaron Curse type of player. They don't play similarly, but body makeup wouldn't hurt to add a guy like that to the safety room. One position I am interested in adding to on day 3 is quarterback. Of course, you've got Kyler for this year and maybe in the future. Excuse me. JJ is whatever. Wouldn't be surprised if they actually brought in another veteran this year. For example, like Carson Wentz, if he doesn't get like a bridge stopgap job, like with the Jets. I think that's been rumored out there. But I think we need competition for practice squad quarterback as well as quarterback 3. I think I'm going to go Luke Altmaier. As far as just like a baseline guy who could potentially project as like a long-term backup, I think he's got a lot of good, attributes, characteristics of a quarterback like that. So we'll bring him in, let him compete with Brosmer, and quarterback 3 do be decided. One more pick. I don't know a lot of these people. I do know Riley. He is a right tackle only, if I'm thinking of the right guy. And even with O'Neal in the picture, usually you like a tackle that can be a swing for both sides. I hope we sign Justin School back for that, so add him to the list. But we're gonna get Malman. We're just gonna see, maybe we can get a long-term heir apparent to O'Neal. But just as a quick recap, For the everything here. O'Neal extended, Kyler quarterback 1, Kenneth Gainwell the new running mate for our man Jordan Mason, Kobe Dean, a little bit upgrade getting younger from Eric Wilson, our medium-sized splash, Andre Cisco / Harrison Smith, just a more proven commodity to come in. One for the short term and the other, maybe you can project ahead, but someone to come in and improve that safety room. And then Cam Jordan, just some sort of veteran presence on the D-line to come in, instantly be able to give you some snaps. I think would do well. Shipped off Grenard for a high second, had to force it, but this makes sense. This is a good trade in my eyes, and I think a lot of people around the league would agree. Jermod McCoy, board didn't fall amazingly. We got slightly good value. If there was no injury, he wouldn't be here. So in that sense, it's good value. If everything checks out with that ACL, you have a quarterback 1 at best, quarterback 2 at worst for the foreseeable future. I honestly feel like he's that good. Lee Hunter, you can just plug right away in at nose tackle. I don't think he has to be a 2-down player. He can stay on, first, second, and third on obvious passing downs because he's got a little juice. He got a little wiggle. I think his floor is good nose tackle, run stuffer. I think his ceiling is like diet Dexter Lawrence. I think he can be that kind of impact with rushing the passer. Our John Grenard replacement, Derek Moore. I admittedly need to do a little bit more research on the edge class now that Grenard might potentially be shipped out. But I know him by name and highlight video on YouTube that he can get to the quarterback. I'm pretty sure he sets a good edge and just proven stats play in a Big Ten school where you're going up against the Penn States, Ohio States, etc. Never hurts to draft from the Big Ten schools, unless your name's J.J. McCarthy. Jake Slaughter, I don't know if he'll be here. It's a good center class, and centers are getting paid this offseason. Was hoping this was going to be Mike Washington, but he went way early. The combine, shot him up boards. But Emmett's good. He's a fun player. Maybe I'm underselling him a little bit, and he could be a potential, running back 1 moving forward. If so, by all means, come aboard. But the fact that he's expressed interest in playing for Minnesota, good in my book. Wisniewski, Altmaier, Malman, depth guys, betting on some traits. Maybe you can, use them as lottery tickets for a position down the road. But there it is. That was my mock off season with 1 day to go. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll make another video or two. Yeah. Let me know what you think if you like these kind of videos. I know there's plenty of people. The market is saturated with good Vikings podcast personalities. Yeah. Thanks for hanging, and enjoy free agency. Enjoy the draft. We'll see you later. Bye.